Hey guys, welcome back. I told you we had a couple projects going on here. There's the next one behind me. The frame I sent to Sandblast came back. So I'm going to go ahead and go over that frame with you today and show you a little bit about it and kind of give you some ideas on what's coming up with that. So we're going to go ahead and cover that with this channel also. Let's go ahead and get into this. So what this is a 2006 F-250 frame, crew cab short bed. Just had it sent out for sandblasting and painting. This is chassis saver, and this is the satin finish. We've got some more stuff to put on here, which is what I'm going to do today with this. This is going underneath a 2001 truck. So we had to do a axle swap per se for this truck. The owner wanted to do some upgrades, and instead of dealing with what he had, he said, "Look, let's do an upgrade since we're going down this far," and this is what we came back with. So this is the one I did a video on for doing sandblast tips. It wasn't real popular. However, as you can see, the rags are still here. These are the ones I stuffed into the axle tubes, and you can still see there's sand coming out of them. So that's sand that would be in your differential, which is not good. Also, had this rear end taken out of the truck. I had removed it after getting it back and sent it down to our local drive shaft shop. Guy that does differentials and everything. I had him put a Detroit True Track in it. I don't do differentials myself. I have done them before, but it's not my forte. I'm not real good at it. It's easier just to pay a guy to have it done, and really in the long run of things, it's always going to be right. If there's ever a problem, can always go back to him and have it repaired. It's just easier to do for me with enough stuff I have going on here. But like I said, this is chassis saver. This is what we've been putting on the trucks as of late. I've done POR 15 in the past, and it just doesn't seem to hold up as well. I'll give you an example here. These axles are POR 15. Didn't hold up that great. Wasn't real impressed, especially with all the prep that I took to do the paint. But if you want to do POR 15, that's fine. That's your choice. That's what's on Brent's frame, POR 15. Looks good. Same type of finish. Basically just which way do you want to go? It's entirely up to you. Chassis Saver's been doing pretty good for us, I think. This will be the third frame I've done this way. So we did a 96 dump truck, which is not here and is not that truck either. So we did a 96 dump truck. We took down all the way to the frame, and I'll show a picture of it to you here. Same scenario. Sandblast, chassis saver, put it all back together. This truck here, same thing. Sandblast, chassis saver, put it all back together. So this is what we do with all of our frames when they come to me. If they come here and they want to get it done all the way, this is the way we do them. When we're all done putting the truck back together, we go ahead and do a soft oil undercoating, something that's going to stick. Now, what I like to use is Corrosion X. It's been my go-to for the past couple years. And that's what we have here. This is just the stuff in a can. You can buy this in 5-gallon containers and use a pressure pot to spray it. I have this for just little touch-ups. But that is a penetrating oil. They make an HD, which this is the HD one. It's a little bit heavier. And they make the regular one, and it sprays on very, very nicely. It fogs well. So we like to use that in and amongst all of the crevices and inside the boxed frames. Something I want to point out, like I said, I know this is not an OBS. These trucks, these frames, these Super Duty frames, they'll rot right here. So if you get a truck that's from the north, or even spend a lot of time on the coast, these can get full of sand or even salt, and then they rot out. I've actually had these where they've been paper thin. You can beat through them with a hammer. So something to keep in mind when you're looking at a Super Duty frame. I don't know if they changed in the 2008 and ups, but the 99 to 07s definitely had that problem. I've seen it firsthand. So something to keep in mind. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and cover this project here on this channel also. Like I said, this isn't an OBS truck. However, this is still following the same process of what we do with OBS trucks. This is just what so happens to be here right now. And like I said, this is going under a 2001 body. So the truck will still be a 7.3 in a 6.0 frame. So this will be a nice little fun project. We're going to go ahead and try to cover this as much as we can. Today I'm going to go ahead and put on the crash bar that goes up here and sway bars. Try to get as much of the heavier stuff back on here. So I'll go ahead and start on that. All right, we got some stuff put on here. Tow hooks are put on, crash bars put on. Those were sandblasted and painted with the chassis saver as well. Front sway bar's been installed. Got some wiring put on, and the fuel lines. And these fuel lines, as you can see, they look a little strange sticking up there. We're going to have to go over that a little bit. But the frame harness is all put in. Found some issues with the frame harness right here. Somebody been probing at the harness, so went ahead and fixed those. Transmission harness there. Have the bracket here. Now this is like a stone guard for the fuel tank. So we don't have the fuel tank in here yet because I got to do some more work on the inside of the frame rail here. And got the rear sway bar loosely installed. I have new bushings. They should be here today. So I have new bushings for those. New end links for the back here. Got to put those on. Now we took off the shock mounts on the frame, and as you can see, we've already painted these bolts. They need another coat of paint. I have a can of chassis saver that I touch everything up with, and those are 7/16 by 14 by 1.25 long. You can see this other one over here. The 1.25 is a perfect length to use with washers, lock washers, and nuts. And I use grade 8 for those. A lot of guys say grade 5 is fine, but I like to be on the safe side for that. Got the hitch put in. This is the hitch off of the 2001 frame and does bolt in using the factory hardware, factory holes. That is a factory hitch, so that's a plus. Obviously the skid plate's not on because the fuel tank isn't in. And then we'll come around over here. And as you can see, we got the copper nickel line here, and it's hasn't been shaped yet, it's just there. I've got to put some new tube ends on the end of them because that line was actually in the original truck. There's no need to replace it because it was still good. So these fuel lines. The 99 to 04 frame does not have this gusset in here. So these fuel lines actually want to be down inside the frame. And that's why they're so tall here, because this is usually down here. So once we get the engine put back in this frame, we'll see what we need to do massage for the fuel lines. But everything does bolt up. So that's the 7.3 pump, and this is the E40D cross member, and then all of the exhaust hangers bolt up. That one's hanging there because I had painted it last night, but that one goes on the tailpipe. The 99 to 04 trucks are different from the 05 to 07 trucks, but they're very, very similar. So you can mix and match a lot of these parts up, which is nice. So if you guys are thinking about doing something like this, then it's not a huge undertaking. A lot of guys will just swap coil buckets and radius arm brackets. A lot of them say that the holes are already there. Just have to drill a couple of the holes. So it's really easy to mount this on a 99 to 04 frame. But it was interesting to find that this gusset was here. That is not there on the 99 to 04 frame. Thought that was really interesting. So I need to do something with these fuel lines, but we don't know what we need to do with fuel lines until we get the engine in and see how it lays with the engine. So we got everything put on here that we can get put on for right now. Waiting on some parts, brake lines, and some other little odds and ends. Need to get this fuel tank put up in here and get the fuel straps put on, and then we can get this skid plate on. Once we get all the frame parts and pieces put on here, fuel tank, fuel lines, get all the brake lines routed, ran, get this sway bar bushings put on back here, and the end link, as you can see, the end link is missing over here. That should all be here today. Hopefully we can get that put on this week sometime and get this truck moving. You'll see some videos on the engine that's going in this truck coming up, and we're going to go ahead and cover some 7.3 specific engine work, not so to speak internal, however more so external. That's why we got manifold gaskets over here. So appreciate you guys watching. This is the follow-up for the sandblasting frame that went out, and we're going to go ahead and keep moving forward with this project, along with Brent's project that's back there under the tarp. And we'll just keep moving along here as fast as we can, try to get these all buttoned up and wrapped up. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you like my videos, and we'll see you on the next one.